Hey there, and welcome. Today we're tackling something huge, a plan to reboot the entire planet's operating system. And right at the heart of it all is a really specific goal for you and me, a lifestyle worth about 500 BarNessQION per month. Now, I know that probably sounds like a foreign language right now, but stick with me. By the end of this, you'll know exactly what that means. Let's get into it.
So let me ask you something right off the bat. What if we stopped looking at the world's biggest problems, hunger, conflict, as political failures and started treating them like bugs in a computer's operating system? What if we could just install an upgrade?
You see, the framework we're digging into here says our current global system is this really shaky house of cards, right? It's all propped up by debt and manufactured scarcity. So what's the fix? Well, it's not about trying to tape the cards together. It's about building a whole new house on a solid foundation of real, tangible assets.
According to the source material, we're not just facing a few problems, we're looking at a full-on planetary system crash. Things like hunger and war aren't just random events. They're symptoms of deep, fundamental flaws in the code that runs our world. Which begs the question, right? How in the world do you fix a system that seems kind of designed to fail in the first place? Okay, so this is where the core idea comes in. It's called peace for profit. And the concept is to treat peace not just as some nice idea, but as critical infrastructure. Think about it like our power grid. We don't just hope it works, we build it to work because it's essential. The idea here is to do the same thing with peace. If you make stability and cooperation the most profitable game in town for everyone, well, suddenly conflict becomes a really bad business decision. And who's at the helm of this new OS? Well, it's a predictive AI named Genie. That stands for Generative Intentional Intelligence. Its whole job is to sift through all the data and map out the best possible path to prosperity for everyone. And its one guiding principle, its prime directive, if you will, is super simple. Do no harm. All right, I know what you're thinking. A planetary reboot? That sounds massive, maybe a little out there. So where do you even start with something that big? Well, just like any good programmer, you go after the most critical bug first. And in this system, that bug is what the source material calls the hunger bug. So here it is, the first software patch. And it's not some line of code, it's something you can actually hold. This is the BarNess Miracle Bar. It's the minimum viable product designed to fix that core instability. And the logic behind it is just rock solid, really. You can't build a stable new world if people are starving. You have to fix that first. And make no mistake, this is not some small-time pilot program. The target is to produce 2 million of these bars every single day. We're talking enough in every box to provide food security for 2 weeks. That's the kind of scale we're talking about. It's about making a real, immediate dent in the problem. Okay, but how do you pay for all this, right? Well, the business model is actually pretty genius in its simplicity. It's a 50-50 split. Half the production is for profit, the other half is for charity. So you're not just relying on donations anymore. The mission to do good is literally baked into the business itself. It fuels itself. Okay, so we've talked about the big picture. Now let's bring it down to you, because this whole thing is designed to change your role from just being a consumer to becoming an actual owner. You know all that stuff we do online every day? The likes, the shares, the comments, what some people call slacktivism. Right now, it doesn't really have any value for you. Well, this system is designed to take all that energy, all that potential, and turn it into something real, something with actual value. Your engagement could actually mean something. So what does this look like in practice? It's actually a pretty straightforward 4-step process. It starts when you buy a product, like one of those miracle bars. Step 2, the AI, Genie, automatically allocates 20% of those funds. Step 3, that money goes to purchase real, productive land. And then, Step 4, and this is the game changer, you become a fractional owner of that land. You're not just a customer anymore, you're an asset holder. And this is where we get back to that number from the beginning, the big payoff. Because this whole engine, this entire system, is built to generate a very real, very stable lifestyle for the people inside it. So the goal, the target on the wall, is a monthly income of 500 BarNessQION tokens. Now, these are designed to be worth about $9,000 US. And let's be clear, the sources are adamant this isn't some crypto moonshot. It's a specific goal
aimed at giving people a stable foundation, moving them away from depending on broken systems to what they call wealth sovereignty.
So, where does this value actually come from? This quote from the source material just says it all perfectly. Building a new system that's anchored in the most real, tangible assets you can imagine: food, land, energy, and community. It's not based on speculation, it's based on things that are fundamentally real.
Okay, let's get into the nuts and bolts. How is this income actually generated? Well, it comes from the yield of a huge global real estate investment trust, or a REIT. And what's in this trust? It's backed by real stuff, like regenerative farms and the infrastructure to support them. It even generates surplus from things like carbon sequestration. All that value is then distributed back to you as credits. Why? Because you're not just a user of the system. You literally own a piece of the engine that's generating all that wealth.
Okay, so we've seen how it could work for an individual. Let's zoom back out one last time and look at the grand vision here. What is the ultimate end game?
This comparison chart really puts it into perspective, doesn't it? You're looking at a fundamental shift in thinking. Instead of managing scarcity, the goal is to create abundance. Instead of fiat currency based on debt, you have value backed by real assets. It's about moving people from aid dependency to true wealth sovereignty. And it even proposes moving beyond legacy institutions like the UN towards a new governance model, like a board of peace.
And the sheer scale they're aiming for? It's just mind-boggling. The plan is to create a whole new regenerative economy, one that's valued at a staggering $32 trillion. I mean, that's a number that's kind of hard to wrap your head around, but it really shows you the level of ambition we're talking about here. And at its very heart, the whole philosophy is regenerative. This image of the waste-to-energy loop is the perfect metaphor for the whole idea. It's about finding things that we consider problems, waste, garbage dumps, dead capital, and seeing them as resources. You turn that waste into clean energy, and that energy in turn generates real, tangible equity. It's a closed loop. So that leaves us with one big question at the end of all this. Is this a practical blueprint for building a better, more regenerative future, or is it something more radical, a vision for a total system override? A kind of Earth 2.0? The truth is probably somewhere in the middle. But either way, it definitely forces you to think, and to think bigger about how we might finally fix some of our planet's oldest, most stubborn bugs.